Be exactly what you want to be without all of the fear around you. We have to stand up together.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Built to Exit. Yes, the title has shifted. Built to Exit podcast with me, your humble host, still humble, still the host, Jason Sisneros, where we talk about all things business. And so today's going to be a special episode because we're unveiling, like it's the baby's been born, and Built to Exit is now going to be out in the world. If you're with us live, you're going to be able to see and witness some things that we've been working on for a while. So I just want to thank everybody for the journey that it's been to get here and all of the work that we've done. But I want to explain to those people that are new to Built to Exit, that have just heard about it, and also remind the listeners, the people that have been with us for a very, very long time, that have gone through and followed the podcast all the way back to the Bald Avenger days, right? Which is what we started this this whole journey was my first podcast, which was the Bald Avenger show, and then that then turned into the Chairman Project, and now it's Built to Exit. And so the journey's been really, really fun. But those of you that are new, I wanted to just kind of go through a little bit of the history and let you know kind of how we're here. Built to Exit, although it's a new brand, it is a very old system, a very old process, from going back to the beginning of my career and moving forward. So I wanted to give everybody just a little bit of that history, build into why Built to Exit exists today, and just kind of let you know who it's for, what this show is all about, and what we're going to want to accomplish into the future, what we want to make happen, over the next 5 to 10 years in the business community. So those of you that don't know me, welcome. I know you've heard about this from somebody that you know, somebody that's been part of our family. Why? Because we don't advertise, right? We haven't spent any money on advertising. This movement has been truly a grassroots movement of people who are genuinely looking for information to be part of a community. That's probably the biggest part of Built to Exit is the community that has coalesced around the idea of utilizing their business for gaining their freedom, right? Making that subtle shift, that 2-degree shift to say, you know what, I have a business, and understanding through the 95% of the people that fail out there, that there's 5%ers, the 5% that succeed beyond that 10-year mark, the 5% that succeed, 50% of businesses that start or go out of business in the first year, right? And so part of understanding the journey, take the first step on the journey, is realizing, hey, I want to do what 5%ers do, right? I don't want to do what 95%ers do, and that's why this has been a movement, like an underground movement for several years, because I, just like you, own businesses and have owned businesses pretty much all of my adult life, and we as business owners don't have time. We don't have the money. We don't have those types of things to be able to speculate on, less than proven systems and process. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and he's a farmer. And he says, Jason, you realize how many times I have people come to me and they're like, oh, I've got this new thing for growing corn to be 18 feet and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, the mindset of a farmer is that we know the soil, we know there's a system, we know there's a process for us to be able to optimize both the nutrient content and the volume of what we farm and what we're looking to harvest. And I thought, man, that is so relevant to business, right? It's so relevant to business because historically, and those of you that followed me know that I am a huge history buff. And when you go back and you look throughout history, business has not changed that much over time. Now, the tools that you have, communications, technology, all of the different things that have changed, obviously that does change. But the principles, the underlying principles, the underlying map, the underlying blueprint that that successful businesses over time have employed are there and available for us if we just look, if we just dig a little bit deeper. And the B2X family is a bunch of seekers, people that have taken personal responsibility to say, I am the one that's going to make the difference in my business. And so that very first subtle shift for you to be on the right path, not running really hard in the wrong direction, but that first subtle, like, this is my first step in this journey, is that with my business, I'm building a machine that creates cash, right? And in order to build that machine, I need to build it for the next owner. What do I mean by that? Built to exit, and the tagline for us is everybody exits, how matters, right? Everybody exit. Just think about that for a second. Maybe say it out loud in your car or wherever you're listening. Everybody exits, how matters, right? And we have three different types of exits that we talk about here. One is from in my early career. And by the way, I've walked every step that everybody's here. The reason why I believe people listen to me is not just because of what I know about building successful companies to exit, but more importantly, that I crashed miserably 3 companies right in a row in the beginning of my journey, right? And so the very first type of exit that we talk about when we say everybody exits, how matters, is the involuntary exit. You don't want to exit. I didn't want to exit those 3 businesses, but guess what? I ran out of money. Number 1. Number 2, the economy tanked. I made bad decisions because I didn't understand the game that I was playing. I made bad decisions because I didn't know that there was a blueprint, right? A map to follow. I was simply going off of what binds us all together is a personality of a rebel, right? We rebel by owning a business. It's simply an act of rebellion. Built to exit, as we launch this rebrand of what I've been doing, you got to understand that it is a warrior brand, because I know you that are watching me, following me, have been with me for years, that are just joining me. I know that in order to be a business owner, you have to have a warrior's heart, right? And built to exit is not built to exit the superhero. It's meant to make you the superhero. The freedom that I enjoy, the successes that I've had, those type of things. This is truly a business and a brand that has been built around you, the one person who's watching me, listening to me. It's around you becoming the superhero in your own life, that's using this tool, this superhero tool, for you to be able to build freedom and choices for you and your own family. And so I look back on that, and that involuntary exit is what we are all scared to death. If all business owners, look, I've been in this game for a very long time. I know a lot of business owners, and a lot of them have different personalities. They put on a confident front because they have to, right? That you have to put on a confident front for your employees. You have to put a confident front on for your customers. You have to put a confident face on for your spouse, that doesn't know what's going on in your business in the background. There's all of these things that have to be that. And so I understand it, right? We put that face on, but we're deathly afraid of that involuntary exit, going out of business, losing what we've built, right? Paying the house that we live in, doing all of those kind of things. So that involuntary exit is what is on tap for 95% of the people that are in business. The people even that right now are doing really, they're putting out this false persona on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and they've got the cars and stuff. So many people, I look at that and I go, man, everybody's right on that edge of involuntary exit, especially in an economy like we are right now. Now, the next type of exit, which I experienced also, again, all of this is from my own personal experience. The next type of exit is something called being dictated, right? Dictated. And what that means in terms of business is that you have an exit, but it's being dictated to you. Okay. The principle, if you're not going to involuntary exit, is that you want to constantly and always build your business for the next person who's going to own it, because somebody will, right? It'll either be non-existent or somebody else is going to own that business. And so when we think about that, Dictated means you don't really know how to play the game of exiting. Right now, there is a flood of people that have shifted. They used to be marketers, and now they've shifted into acquisition or buying businesses or flipping businesses, which is the stupidest thing that you can possibly think that is going to work, right? And so they're putting together people who really didn't know how to run a business, and somebody on the other end of it that is buying a business that has some extra money, maybe from savings or whatever it is. They're putting them together, and the only person that makes money in that transaction is the one in the middle, because both ends of that equation don't really understand what they're doing, okay? And so that's a dictated exit. You get in and somebody tells you, oh, I'll buy your business, I'll buy it out. I'm going to give you $100,000 now, and then over the next 5 years, you need to stay there, et cetera, et cetera. And then you never really end up buying that business. Or you have the professionals. And I say this all the time, you should build your business to sell to a private equity firm, okay? I know how they buy. It's very specific. I know what they do. When they run across a business owner who doesn't know what they're doing, they take advantage. They drive the price down. They extend the payment out over time. Not all the time, but for the most part, this is true. They are professionals. And so you should begin, if it clicks in your mind, oh, I should be building my business to exit. Well, and then the doubts come up. Well, I don't know if my business is something that I can exit. Yes, you can. Right? If it's producing revenue, you can build it into something that somebody else wants to buy and own. But the dictated means that they're going to come in, and if you're uneducated, like I was in my very first, what I would call the next step from involuntary is dictated, right? I didn't know what I was doing. I got paid way less than the businesses were worth. They strung me out over time. A couple of them didn't end up going to fruition. And so that was a dictated exit, right? You get to the end of your career and you're like, okay, now it's time to sell it. And you're having those terms dictated to you. The third type is what Built to Exit was meant to do. It's to custom exit, right? Custom tailor your exit. To take this thing that you've built, turn it into an asset that somebody else wants to acquire, and then you take that as your wealth or your retirement or whatever it is that you want to use it for. That's what this was built for. Okay, that's what B2X is. That's what Built to Exit is, right? And it was built through the third exit, that custom tailored, was my exit back in 2019. When I thought that I was going to be leaving the business world forever and doing what I love. Okay, we talk about your end game. My end game was that I was going to make enough money that I was okay, my kids were okay, and had enough money to fall back on and to do the things that I'm passionate about. Those of you that have followed me for a long time know that my very first passion was in domestic violence, because I grew up in a family where my adopted father went to prison for attempted murder of me and my mom at 17 years old, and then going down that path. Okay, so I have a deep love and passion to serve that community. Now, secondarily, I fell in love with food insecurity. So I started working with an organization called Feed a Billion, and became the CEO of that organization. This was all towards the end of my career, after I had actually had my custom tailored exit, where I dictated those terms. And so now I had the money to do that. I thought also then, and I know those of you that have been following know that for 10 years, I've been a part of a rescue team that goes in and grabs kids that are being trafficked in the sex trade. And so those were the things that I thought I was going to do. It's CERT Ministries is who I've worked with. And that's what I thought I was going to be doing with my life. And this is important for everybody to understand, because I want you to know when you are interacting with the brand Built to Exit, I want you to understand who you're dealing with. Okay. About 2020, so along those paths, one of the companies that I didn't sell in 2019 was a company called Anton J. Right? Anton J is a consulting firm. We've never advertised, right? It's all been word of mouth, and it was built to help companies to be able to exit. Right? I've been doing that for 18 years, I think, at this point. Well, Anton J's been around. To give other business owners the opportunity. And then about 5 years ago, we built that into a digital course for companies that couldn't afford to bring Anton J in, because I love my brothers and sisters in this community. You are my family. And why that's important for you to understand is that everybody that's live with me right now has a relationship with me in one way, shape, or form or the other, right? I am here because I know you're a warrior and I've walked down these same paths. I'm a warrior, we're a warrior, and we're all doing the best we can to be the superheroes in our own lives, for our families, for our communities, for our country, for the world at large, with whatever tools that we have at our disposal. Are you a business owner that's looking to build your company into a machine that creates cash? I'm Jason Sisneros, chairman and founder of Anton J Global, a world-class business consulting company that has turned around, merged, or prepped for sale hundreds of companies just like yours. I'm best known as the architect when it comes to fixing and building companies across the globe. My experience comes from owning and exiting over 20 of my own companies successfully. It's that real-world experience that I've converted into the ultimate blueprint that has saved and grown my clients' businesses. If you're tired of getting bad advice, have bought all the books, all the coaching programs, and still aren't seeing the success that you were promised, it might be time to work with a team that has actual experience and a track record of success. Please scan the QR code or visit antonj.com to schedule your free 15-minute consultation to see if we can help you reach your outcomes. That's antonj.com, ANTONJAE.com. And so why this is important to know and to understand why Built to Exit exists is so that you understand who you're interacting with. Right? Built to Exit is a group of people. It's me, it's my team, and it's the community. And we have all coalesced together around a heartbeat. Now, why I got so passionate, why I decided to go and to build over the last year this amazing brand called Built to Exit is because in 2020, I heard something that really disturbed me. As you can tell already, I have a passion to protect people. Right? I was bullied when I was a kid. I was beat up by my adopted father. We were poor as a joke. I got bullied by the rich kids. I got, all of the stuff that go, and that builds up something, right? That I understand. I understand my daddy issues. Do you understand yours? Right? So, but what happened is that developed in me a personality to defend. Okay, one of the plaques that's behind me here in the studio was one of the ones I'm most proud of, and it's from a group of women in the domestic violence world that gave me the title The Shield. And so in 2020, what I heard happen was a bunch of us in the small, we're called SMEs, right? SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises. And what that means is you have 0 employees to about 499. Okay, that's the designation. And that community does about 60% of the GDP and 60% of the hiring in a $27-28 trillion economy. We're doing 17 to 19 trillion dollars of that. And in 2020, we got called non-essential. And I was busy doing other things. Okay, warrior stuff, right? I was traveling around, I was fighting mandates, I was I had the money now so nobody could cancel me, and I was bringing awareness to trafficking, plus doing the trafficking rescues. I was on stage with a lot of different people talking about our freedoms and our choices and all that kind of stuff. And when I heard non-essential, for you, think about you, everybody that's listened to me, I know you either are starting a business, you're in business, you've been in business for a long time. How did it feel to you to be called non-essential during a period of time where there was so much uncertainty, right? Where people who didn't have your best interest in mind were making decisions about your future. And when that happened and they mandated everybody to shut their doors because they were non-essential, I watched major unethical corporations have the ability to stay open, right? I watched those people coordinate with a centralized government where they were making tons of money on the stock because they put us, the competition, out of business for a while. I watched business owners who had their entire lives wrapped up, not just for themselves, because if you own a business, you know that your family is your team, your employees, the people that work with you, your local community. It becomes a little bit of your identity. We talk about not making your business your identity here, but it still does. And I watched people take their lives, people that I knew, because they couldn't make payroll, because they felt like they failed. They had involuntary exits that were it was absolutely no fault of their own. And fall into depression and jump into a bottle and start drinking and, doing all the things. It absolutely decimated my family in the small and mid-sized arena. I know you're not supposed to be political. I know you're not supposed to say all these things in business, but that's not who I am. I can't pretend not to care about things that affect and impact our country. And so I got pissed, just like I did about domestic violence, just like I did about people starving in a world that has enough food to feed everybody, just like I did when I found out that there was the fastest growing criminal enterprise was selling children for sex. I got pissed for my family. And I started looking around and go, who's defending that community? Who's defending us? Who's going to step up and say, bullshit, we're non-essential? Nobody stood up for us. Something clicked in my mind. And I said, you know what? We've got to do something about this. That was the sentence. And the sentence for you, anytime you've ever stood up for anybody in your life, anytime you've ever stood up for yourself, there's a light switch that goes off in my mind that says, I'm going to do something about that. And so we already had this consulting firm called Anton J that's been around. We've been helping lots of companies for a long time. All you got to do is go to LinkedIn and you can see the people that we've helped. No advertising. It's all been word of mouth. And then the digital course, which, hundreds and thousands of people have already gone through and graduated from that course. Those type of people. And I thought, let's take this another step. So Built to Exit is built for you to make more money, right? And for you to custom tailor your own exit. But I want to give you the longer picture for me is that I believe the core tenets of what I want Built to Exit to stand for and the power of this movement is for us to have a voice at the highest levels in our country, to have a voice for our family, to have a voice for what I believe in free enterprise. Ethical capitalism has done more good than almost any organization, any opportunity. I think it's done more good because in order to be good at business at the ethical capitalist way, you have to fall in love with somebody else's outcome. You have to serve your community. You have to serve your employees. You have to behave in a way that is honorable for your company to succeed long term. You do not get to be in the 5% in the SME community by being unethical. Unethical capitalist businesses, the ones that are bigger, they have the ability to buy off politicians. They have the ability to pass laws. They have the ability to put their thumb on the scale. They have the ability. That's not us. We have bills to pay. We have people that work for us. We have a community that knows who we are. Right? We have churches, we have synagogues, we have mosques, we have all of these other things where we have to behave in a way that is honorable because if our product is awesome, our service is awesome, and we are terrible, then nobody's going to use that product or service. It all aligns but perfectly with biblical principles, right? Being a good person. And so the coalescing of all of us coming together is my long-term goal. That is why Built to Exit exists. That's for me. And I know that you're like, Jason, all I really want to do is make more money and I would love to be able to secure my future by doing what you say. I understand that. But you've got to know, this is the introductory conversation of Built to Exit. Today is the inaugural launching of a culmination of my entire life's work. And you've got to know who you're dealing with because we are different. This is different. Yes, it's to help you make more money. Yes, it's to teach you some of the blueprints and the strategies and all that other kind of stuff. But the movement is what's important to me. If I was going to, I'm not at a point in my life where I wanted to start another consulting firm or sell a program or whatever it is. That is not what this is. What this is a movement of our brothers and sisters. Doesn't matter what color, doesn't matter what sexual preference, doesn't matter what religion, it doesn't matter what gender, skin color, all of those things doesn't matter. What matters is that in order for you to be an ethical capitalist, you have the same heart that I do. And you're walking a journey that I have walked, that many of us have walked together. And I have gotten to the end of that rainbow and said, look, the water is fine. It gives you choices. Once you get to this place, you can fight things that you want to fight back against. It gives you time with your family. It gives you the ability to do things that you want to do with your life instead of constantly and 100% of your time and your effort that you die at your desk because that's all you allowed into your life. You've got to have bigger aspirations to be part of this. There's plenty of consulting firms. There's plenty of digital programs. There's plenty of people that are out there that are not part of my movement, that are not part of our movement, that you can learn skills and tools and all those kind of things of how to get better with your business. God bless them. And if that's the journey that you decide to walk, yes, this isn't the only thing on the face of the planet. What it is a movement of people. And I believe that if you've ever been part of a winning team, you know that it's the team and the culture that adds fuel to a journey that you are walking. The thing that I can tell you about the people that are live with me right now on Twitter, every single Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., the thing that I can tell you is that they are warriors, that they have a heart for service, that they are fighting their battles, that they are winning those battles, that they are taking their excess and they are doing good things for veterans, for kids, for pets, for whatever it is that they care about. And they learn over and over and over again. They did the course. Yes, they've done work with us at the corporate level. Yes, all of those things. Some of the people don't have the capital built up yet, and so they just come every Saturday and they're constantly improving their business. Because it's a movement. And I needed to make sure that this was crystal clear to anybody that ever wants to join anything that we're doing with Built to Exit. We built this specifically. One of the things you'll hear me say almost every episode is that you have to, in business, fall in love with the outcome of your target audience. I am desperately in love with your outcome because I am you. I have been you. Whatever challenge that you happen to see, I've either gone through it myself or helped another company through it. I'm in love with your outcome because the more freedom that you get, the more freedom that I have. The more freedom that you get, the more freedom that your children have. The environment that we were handed to us, this amazing opportunity to be able to change our stars through this thing called business was gifted to us. We didn't earn it. It was gifted to us to be good stewards of the business community. It was gifted to us to be good stewards so that it would be left in a better position for the next generation. To have the ability to change our stars through economic power, through economic choice, through economic decision making that was given to each and every one of us. And what I see happening is, corrupt government. I see unethical capitalists. I see, scumbags that try to, steal from our community in the form of them doing AI or consulting or guruing or whatever it is. I see our community, our family under attack, and we do not have a coordinated response. Built to Exit is the coordinated response to those outside pressures. And gathering more and more and more of us gives us power together to continue and to hand this off to the next generation in better shape than we found it. That's the power. In 1890, the world shifted and changed with a little act called the Sherman Act. In 1890, the world changed. How you can tell is because you follow the abject poverty marker, where it was 90-10. 90% of us. I'm not in the elite. I was born on the wrong side of the tracks with the wrong last name. Watching my mom stand in line for government cheese and embarrassed by pulling out food stamps and all of those things. And in 1890, a centralized government here in the United States stood up and said, no, we're not going to allow the money and the production and business to fall into the hand or to the pockets of too few. It's doing it again today. And we need to fight back against it. And God willing, I've already been asked to have some impact in that area. How we're going to have the biggest impact is this built to exit community. Getting together, learning from each other, having conversations together. We've built on the back end of this thing, we've built a place for this community to come together so that we can learn from each other, so we can communicate with each other, so we can hold each other accountable, so we can serve each other. I'm doing this show every single Saturday. We're doing a lot of things to make sure that we build community and we support and lift each other up. Because in 1890, they passed the Sherman Act, and that's just said, it was the precursor to the Fair Trade Act, to the FTC, and protecting the business environment, to keep it decentralized. Decentralized means you are successful with your business without the influence or overreach of a government or unethical capitalists to stymie you doing the best you can with your opportunity with your small business or your mid-sized company, whatever it is. We got to fight. We got to do this together. So yes, you learn things. Yes, we have systems. Yes, we have blueprints. Yes, we have events. Yes, we have all of those things. But you got to know, if you're going to be part of the Built to Exit community, it is much more than another consulting firm. It's much more than just a digital product. It's much more, because it's the community. It's your brother, your sister, the people that are in this business with you. It's us coming together to fight a worthy battle, to fight for our own freedom, and in so doing, expand the freedom of other people, the opportunity for other people. Because the one thing that I know is unethical capitalism has no what's the word I'm looking for? It has no preferences. You play a game, this intellectual sport called business, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter the mistakes you've made in the past, but are you doing right today? Are you doing it in a systematic way? Are you doing it with the right heart in mind? Have you fallen in love with the outcome of somebody else's, for somebody else, for your business to fall in love? Have you fallen in love with the outcome of your employees? Have you, and are you building your business for the next owner? Yes or no? That's this family. And we need a bigger voice. That voice gets louder every single time somebody joins this community. We build this on feedback. We listen to you. We hear the things that you're going through. We talk to people all the time, all day long about what? About business. We don't dabble. I did not read a book 6 weeks ago and then all of a sudden put out some kind of beautiful marketing and funnel that tries to bullshit people about how good I am when I don't have the competence to back it up. I have competence first. And the only reason that you're here is because you heard about it from somebody else, or you heard from me on stage, or heard from me on podcast, because we've not spent a dime yet, we're going to, in marketing. Hi, my name is Jason Sisneros, founder and chairman of Anton J Global, a world-class business consulting company that has helped hundreds of clients and thousands of growth course students fix, scale, and successfully master their businesses. To put it simply, my team and I help people turn their businesses into machines that create cash. To better support startups and other mid-sized companies, my team and I developed a phenomenal and comprehensive digital growth course where I poured decades of business ownership and know-how into 20 hours of content. This course is not easy. It's not an easy pill, but demands real work from you to implement the blueprints that I've developed. We know that reaching financial freedom is never easy, but totally worth it. Go to growthcourse.com right now to learn more about the course and get started on your business journey today. That's what Built to Exit is. Built to Exit is for you to be able to take whatever God put in your heart that you are meant to serve, and to give you this weapon, this tool, because you're a warrior, and to be able to build it and construct it by overcoming your weaknesses, by building on your strengths, by taking your game to the next level, by you doing what you can with the person in the mirror, to be able to create choice for you and your family. What a blessing that a lot of us, including myself in my early days, have taken for granted. We had it taken away from us in 2020. Never again. Not on my watch. Because just like with domestic violence, just like with feeding people, just like with rescuing children in the sex trade, I'm going to do something about it. And we can come together. One warrior is great. Two warriors is awesome. 1,000 warriors is even better. Like a million of us is even better. We should not have, nobody should have the ability to be able to dictate to you what stars you align, what stars you chase, your ability to be able to do whatever it is that you want. Okay? So I put together some things, just that's the history. This is how we got here. Okay? It's a rebrand. Right? We started talking about, oh, we're going to build another brand, blah, blah, blah. No, it's a rebrand. Because Anton Jay's been around for 18 years. Okay? The course that we built has been around for 5 years. We built it once. We upgraded it with technology, and we brought in somebody who is a professional teacher. So we broke the segments up so that it could be deeply impactful for you to be able to go through end to end in 28 hours in the built to exit system. Right, the basics of building a business. Right, the basics and the framework and the launching pad for you to be able to create something that somebody else wants to buy. You're building your business for two people. You've fallen in love with your client's outcome, right? And your employee's outcome. And you're building it in a strategic way for somebody else to buy it from you. Whether you want to sell it or not, at that point, when somebody else wants to buy it, you have all of your time back. It's maximized and optimized for cash flow. You have a solid relationship with your customers, right? All of the things that somebody wants to buy would also probably make you just want to keep your business for the length of time that you want to until you're ready to quit and go on to other things. So I took some notes just because I do go on these wild rants sometimes because I'm passionate, but I want to make sure that I cover some things for people that are looking into what is built to exit. And as importantly, right, we're built this for business owners, and we built it. This was a shift, okay? This was a shift. We built it because I know that there are people that are born coaches, right? They're born to serve other people. They love teaching. They love serving other people with the knowledge that they have. And in our world, we call those business coaches and consultants. And so we built two solutions. One is for the business owner directly, and the other is for business coaches and consultants that want to take their game to the next level, right? On the business side, we're in the business of creating custom tailored exits. And on the coaching and consulting side, we're in the business of building $1 million consulting businesses. If a consultant and a business coach is doing $1 million a year, they have wildly impacted the people that they work for, right? 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, $100 million worth of value for a consulting firm to be worth that money. Or they're a temporary blip on the screen where you see their marketing for a little while and then they go away because all they're trying to do is come in and grab your pocket. We're building ethical consultants and certifying ethical consultants and coaches to do exactly what we've been doing for 18 years. So if that is you and you want to join us and you want to get B2X certified, then please do. And for the business owners that are looking to build to exit, we've got you covered. That's who it's for. Now, it's been an interesting, journey. And I wanted to go through some of the things because just as importantly as who this is for, who it's not for is just as important. And and so all I did was I went back through my own journey and I thought to myself, when in my journey, when would Built to Exit not have been for me? And every single thing I came up with was a me thing. It wasn't I would have, oh my gosh, if I think about so many times, one of the questions that keeps me up at night was one that was asked to me by my mentor, but he said, if you could take back your three biggest mistakes, how much money would you have? That was Keith Cunningham, the real Rich Dad and the Rich Dad Poor Dad books. Been my mentor for many, many, many years. And when he asked me that question, I was like, oh my gosh, if I could take back my three biggest mistakes, like how much money would I have? Holy cow. And it bothered me so bad. It bothered me so bad. But then I started to think, what stops? Who is this not for? And every single time it was a Jason thing where it wouldn't have been, because here are the phases that I went through. I know it all. Because I started to believe, right, that just like a lot of business owners, I started to believe, oh, I know everything because I have to put on that persona. I know every single one of you watching me. You have to have that persona on. Don't let it become your identity, though, right? It's something you have to put on, because if you don't have certainty, if you don't have strength, if you don't have like that, nobody's going to want to do business with you and nobody's going to want to work for you. So I understand why the mask is there, but don't let it become your identity, as I did when I was younger. I thought I knew everything because I was making a few dollars more than I had when I was a flat ass broke kid. I thought, right? Think about this. Maybe this is one of those things that you write down as I go through these. Because it was true for me, is it true for you? Everything that I was proud of in my early business career was the exact reason why nobody would ever buy me, and I was destined for involuntary exit. Everything that I was like, I'm a hard worker, I'm the hardest worker in the room. Boom. That means your business needs you, nobody's going to buy you. I know everything. Oh, that means that you're not going to ever learn anything. So where you are right now, you're stuck, and somebody, either the economy or your competition, or somebody's going to pass you up. All of the things that I was proud of in my beginning of my career was the exact reason why I was destined for involuntary exit. Why I was never going to get bought by somebody else. The only number I need to know is that I've got money in the bank account. Oh, one of the first things that somebody that's going to buy you needs to know is that you have financial clarity to prove, right, why they should buy you. They're buying a business. Somebody that is a professional business buyer is buying it because they want to have predictive returns. Private equity is kicking everybody's ass right now because they know what they're doing. They're buying companies like yours, and they're improving them or executing on their own plans to get a 14 or higher % return on the investment. They're not stupid. Your business is an asset that you don't realize is an asset, but the private equity world has realized is an asset that can appreciate 14% or higher over the 5 to 7 years that they're going to own your business. And guess what? Flip it to somebody else. Why not realize that success for yourself? Build to exit. So I was a know-it-all. And then I got into this phase where I was like, okay, maybe I don't know it all. I'm gonna go to this seminar, and I'm gonna buy this program. I'm gonna read this book, and I'm gonna blah blah blah. And then I would read it, and to be honest, like, I understand there's so much bullshit that's out there. There's so many people that are great at marketing and terrible at delivering. I understand that, and that's not just a now thing. That's been a forever thing. Right? I would hire consultants, and I paid these one consultants $250,000 in to basically come in and look at my company, and they pissed off my entire staff. They gave me this book of printed out stuff and said, there you go for $250,000. And it was at that point in time, in that space of time, when I started to click into a couple of really bad conclusions. One was, I've tried everything, right? Now I've tried everything because I went to like 4 seminars. I bought like 6 books, and but of the wide world of 8 billion people and thousands of years of business history, I've now tried everything. What an idiotic conclusion for me to come to, right? And then, and then here's the other one. I wrote these down. Like I tried one thing, it didn't work. Therefore, nothing works. How dumb is that, right? And then I got into this phase where I was like, I'll figure everything out on my own. And I was in that phase when I heard this phrase. And the phrase was, you can do it yourself, but you can't do it by yourself. I was stuck in the mode that I could do it all myself, right? I'll figure it out. There's an expense to I'll figure it out. There's a lot of knowledge and pieces for us, right? I was doing a podcast for Christian business community this last week, and there's a phrase that says that success leaves clues. I heard that from Tony Robbins first, but then I was like, you know what? God leaves clues. It's called the Bible, right? It's how well are we equipped to pick up those clues. And then I was like, I got into a phase where I was like, I bought every snake oil bullshit out there. I went through that phase. And then I was like, well, someday, right? Because I'm too busy. This is one of the killers of people's successes. I'm too busy. I don't have the time. Okay. I understand it. Like we've got a lot of stuff going on, but there should be a time that is carved out, just like for you and your wife, or you and your kids, or you taking care of yourself at the gym, or you making time to eat correctly, right? Building and strategizing and shifting and modifying your business should be a part of your normal life. And the pinnacle to which you're building towards, whether you're getting closer to or further away, is, am I built to exit, right? Am I prepared yet to have a conversation with somebody who wants to buy my business? If not, those are the things you work on. So those were the things, and a lot of, and here's the other one that I ran into a lot in my own career was, but it was true. Like I want everybody to understand this. It was true at a certain point. This is why we do this show. It's free to everybody. It's why the assessment that you're going to see and that maybe some of you have already gone through is free. I wanted to make sure that, because I know this is true for some people, that there is a shortage of cash to be able to invest in your own career, to be able to invest in something new, especially if you have all those other beliefs, like I've tried everything, nothing works, someday I'll get to it. If on top of that is, what is your financial position? Do you have the money to invest? And I can tell you that if I went through everybody that's in my audience right now or listening to this, there was a period of time when you didn't have the money and you came up with it anyway, right? That's one thing. But in case you don't really have it, then the reason why I do these things is so that you will eventually be able to get it for free, the free stuff that I put out every single week after week after week, so that you will eventually get to that place. So that you'll understand that your end game means that you're filling up a bank account with excess cash and you're not trying to play the stupid Instagram game and spending that money and being broke at a higher income. That's the dumbest thing that you could do. I did it. I had boats and I had a big house and I had blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it was gone. And so was all that stuff, and all the stuff that I thought that was telling the world my value. It was suddenly gone, and now I was of no earthly value to anybody, because that was the only value I was portraying, was how much money I had, which is a stupid, stupid marker. It says nothing about somebody's character. It says nothing about the depth of relationships that you have. The friendships that I have now are solid. The people that I hang around now are solid, right? The life that I live is solid because it's an afterthought. Money and profit and my bank accounts filling up is a direct result to the amount of people that I serve. End of sentence. Much different life when I was all about me. So, as I wrap this up, because I've got something to roll out for everybody here in just a second, let me just make sure I touched on all the things I wanted to touch on. What is this designed to do? It's designed simply to custom tailor exits for business owners and to teach ethical, integrity-based coaches, consultants, and implementers how to build $1 million a year business by architecting custom tailored exits for their clients. Why would somebody want to join and be part of this? It works. It can be learned and taught. It's important work. It delivers freedom, and this community is amazing. I do this even if nothing ever happened from this, and I get to hang around the people that I've got in this community, I'm down. Okay. Oh, we didn't touch on this. I did a whole episode on it. So if you can go back and, on YouTube or whatever and go through some of the old episodes, I did a whole episode on special flower syndrome. There's, your business, the industry that you're in, where you happen to be, what your age is, what your gender is, all of that stuff, right? There's nothing that is directly opposed. You can find somebody just like you doing exactly what you're doing that has been successful before, right? So don't think of yourself as a special flower. It works for everybody else, but it doesn't work for me, right? Don't do that to yourself. And then your outcome. I asked Joe last night. We were texting about Joe Callow, who's the president. He's president of Anton J. And I texted him and I asked him a question. And I said, what do you think the biggest objection to people investing in their education is? And he replied with a weak why. And that is so powerful for us to understand. Life beats us down. We try things, we fail. We make promises to our spouses that we don't deliver on. We make promises to our kids that we don't deliver on. We make promises to ourselves that we don't deliver on. And so instead of keeping that high objective for ourselves, that high outcome, that high standard for ourselves, we lower the standard. And I'm here to tell you that this is one of the biggest pieces of self-sabotage that Joe nailed right on the head, is that belief in yourself. If you have a weak why, a weak end game, it's because you have begun the process of not believing in your greatest power besides your God is yourself. Don't lower your standards. If God put it in your head, He correspondingly gave you the tools to be able to achieve it. I am living proof of that. A question I want to leave you with, and then I'm going to wrap this up. A question I want to leave you with that I want you to spend time with, because it was the one that changed my life. A mentor came to me and said, Jason, what if you don't change? And this was at a pivotal point in my life. What if you don't change? And I knew, because God leaves clues, success leaves clues, so does failure. And I knew by looking down the road at my friends at the time, dead, in prison, addicted. I knew what the future held for me. If I kept doing the same things over and over again and not doing something different. Thank God for my mentors. Thank God for people that believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Thank God for people that saw something in me that I never knew existed was in me. This community, this Built to Exit community, is because we understand, I know, you're the one. And if nobody else in your life is telling you that you can do it, you can do it. This is me. This is everybody that you'll run into in the Built to Exit community. They will tell you the same thing. You can do it. You got to get things aligned. You have to have your systems in place. You have to have the right people around you. You have to keep inspired through the necessary failures that you're going to accomplish or that you're going to encounter. What if you don't change? If you mapped out your life and you went to the end of it right now doing the same shit you're doing day after day after day, and you don't take a chance on educating yourself, on learning some new stuff, on taking new risks, on those types of things, what's going to happen? I bet just as clear as it was for me, it's clear for you what that outcome will look like. So in conclusion, thank you for being here on our inauguration, the launch of a brand that will do what all of my businesses eventually do. Change the game. We already have a strong base of early adopters, and their results are stunning. You can find their stories on LinkedIn in the recommendation section. Business, no matter what one you've chosen, is hard. There's no easy pills. There's no magic potions. Most people are in the 95% track of involuntary exit. This number has never changed over time. We want to create the change starting with you that changes that number. You could be that one that becomes the many, who eventually protects this gorgeous opportunity for generations to come, who may have been born in the wrong zip code with the wrong last name and a predestined end game based on their environment, who wants just one thing: a chance. Business is the greatest tool ever granted to humanity to change our stars and to achieve to achieve above our beginnings. I've dedicated my life to this sport and the rare players with superhero in their genes. If you're that one, welcome to the family of extraordinary human beings, the B2X family, where everybody exits. How matters. You get to design that. So in order to join us, download the free guide on builttoexit.biz, which, let's see, I see my brand guy in here. I'm going to ask him here in a minute if it's ready to go live, but builttoexit.biz should look a hell of a lot different than it did before the show. And right on the front, there is an assessment, a free assessment for you to be able to do one of the three things that I say you have to do. Number one, know where you are. Number two, know where you're going. That's your end game exercise. And in the middle, you build the assets that's going to be able to help build you from where you are to where you want to go. Download the free guide at builttoexit.biz. Take the free assessment. Design your end game down to the last dollar. I've done a couple of shows on how to do your end game. Maybe I'll do another one next week so that we're clear on it. But design your end game down to the last dollar. Join us every Saturday here on X at the J Sisneros. Share, share, share. Let's build this community. Join the community at builttoexit.biz. And above all, this is my final statement. Above all, I task you warriors with the outcome of winning, whatever that looks like in your own life. If you don't start out with that as the end game, as at least part of the end game, you're just going to spin your wheels. I love you all very much. Thank you so much for being here on our inaugural launch of builttoexit.biz. Please join us in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter, in the free areas, with the Built to Exit system, or coming on as a coach and a consultant so we can certify you and make a massive impact so that we can change that number. Every industry I've ever gone into, I look at the numbers. What are the numbers that have been consistent and persistent in that industry for over a period of time? And let's change those. And I get laughed at every single time I do this in every industry I've ever done it. 5 years from now, people aren't going to be laughing. 5 years from now, are you going to be a part of this with me? 5 years from now, are you going to have exited your business, starting another one, started your charity, sailing the 7 seas, whatever it is that can be you? I certainly hope so. So if you're live, I'm going to go to the live audience right now when we're going to talk about that. I hope everybody's gone to builttoexit.biz by now and can start giving us our feedback. Those of you that are watching this, obviously you're early adopters, go to the website, tear it apart for us. We teach here that we can only build on our failures. So if you go to the website, there's a misspelling, there's spaces, there's links that aren't working. Whatever it happens to be, give us your feedback immediately so we can fix it. We thrive on hearing and growing, and the shows that I do, everything is based on feedback. Why? Because I fell in love with your outcome, not mine. So give us feedback. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you to those of you that are new. This is a wild and crazy group of people, and we've got a lot of cool stuff planned in the future as we build this out, some times for us to get together, some events, a whole lot of stuff. We want to go out there and we want to impact that number. I don't want you to be part of the 95% that have an involuntary exit. I want you to be part of the 5%, the 6%. Where let's change the numbers. Let's change the game to where it's 10% that have custom built their business to their exit to create freedom for themselves and certainty for themselves and opportunity for the next generation. That's incumbent upon us. I'm Jason Sisneros from the first episode of Built to Exit podcast. God bless. Peace.